Hello, this is Sabina at Cross Keys Crafts. I decided to have a play today with my new Lavinia stamps, and I've got this Winter Magic set here, the words, the stamp, and it's just some winter words, and I thought this would be nice. I've also got the small snowflakes, and I've also got these mini star stamps. They're different sets, and I thought they would complement these quite nicely. And I would like to use one of my favourite techniques, which is the ink emboss resist. So I have already prepped my piece of cardstock. This is about 5.5 inches square, but I'm going to cut it down a little bit later. And I've already used my powder tool on it to get rid of any marks, and I've also already rubbed over my stamp just to make sure there's nothing there from the production, but usually with the Lavinia stamps I don't have any issues. And I'm using my Versamark embossing ink, so I'm just stamping this up. Sorry if I'm going a bit off camera there, making sure I'm getting everywhere. And I'm just stamping this right in the middle. Could offset this a little bit, but I think it's quite nice. I'm just working on a 300 GSM cardstock. It's a heavyweight cardstock, but nothing special, but it's quite smooth. It's quite nice for the ink blending. So I think that's fine everywhere. So I'm using clear embossing powder. You can use white embossing powder. So if you use clear embossing powder, what happens is, so I'm just using my spoon, what happens, whatever colour you've got in the background will be the colour you see. So if you want it to be white and you're using a coloured cardstock, then obviously you get the same effect, but I find it quite nice if the effect is that you just basically it's not as stark, let's put it that way. So I don't know if the camera picks it up, but it's really nice. So I'm going to heat set this off camera now. I'm going to heat up my heat tool quite a bit before I go on to this, because I find the clear embossing powder, it does spray a little bit. I don't mind to have too many specks everywhere. I think we'll just add to this sort of wintry snowy look, but ideally I don't want to blow too much of this embossing powder away. So I quickly do that off camera, and then we do the rest of the stamping. So you can check whether it's heat embossed properly if you got the shine everywhere, and I do have that. I also always warm it up a little bit from the back just to get it straight a little bit. I think what I do with this, because it's quite wobbly, I think I might put it through my die cutting machine between two pieces of paper afterwards, just to flatten it a bit more. But because I'm going to do some more stamping, I'm not bothered about this too much now. So I think what I do now is, I did heat emboss this first, so I know where I'm putting these stamps. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do this off camera now with all these. You've seen the technique. So I'm going to go round here with some of the bigger stamps, and then I think I'll fill it in with the smaller stamps. If I can see the Versamark without putting the embossing powder on, I will do this in one go. If not, I will do these in a separate set. But yeah, whichever way you do it, both work, because the Versamark stays sticky for quite a while. You can take your time to do this stamping. So as I said, I'm going in with these first, with the bigger ones, and I will use all three, and then I will fill the cart in with that one. I had to heat emboss this in stages, because at one point I wasn't really sure where I had already stamped. So this took me about 20 minutes, so it's definitely not a card to mass produce really. What you could do potentially, if all these stamps are the same thickness, you could actually put these in your stamping platform, and obviously only stamp one lot at a time, but then you could maybe move the card around, as in, you know, turn it that way around and stamp the sort of same pattern all the way around. You could cut it a bit short that way, but I just did it this way. So a few little tips. I know already here, I think I pressed the stamp too much, so the definition is not that nice. It's a bit pressed down. And also the first lot I heat embossed from the front, and what I had feared before happened. The clear embossing powder sprayed a little bit, and then I tried to heat emboss it from the back. I thought this wouldn't work because I think this is a 300 GSM, but it actually worked okay. So that keeps you from spraying the embossing powder around, and you get a clearer image. So that's worth doing. And also one thing I forgot, because obviously I touched this again, I forgot to use my embossing powder, sorry, not the embossing powder, the anti-static powder in between, and I was struggling. If you ever have stray embossing powder, just use a brush to brush it away, but I know there already are a few areas where I couldn't get in between, so I knew some of the images won't be as clear as I would like them to be, but it still will be fine. So all I need to do now is to ink blend over this, and I will use my new Villainous Potion, and I think I'll combine it with a blue atoll. I think this might be an interesting mix. So I think I go in the middle with the blue atoll first. So I will just pick the ink up, but I will put it in the lid first because I don't want this to be too strong. And also I will get some scrap paper here and just test it. But I think this will be fine if I start with a lighter application. So I'm just starting in the middle and just going over this without pressing down too much. And it doesn't look like a lot at the moment, but once we wipe over the embossing powder, the effect is really, really nice. As I said, I think this is one of my favorite techniques. So I think I'll leave it like this. Now I maybe go a bit further into the snowflakes. Don't want too much purple. You can already see I've gone a bit blotchy now. It's doing so well before. I'm not a perfect ink blender. But we'll see. So, and obviously with the Villainous Potion, as this is a new ink pad, I definitely have to use this carefully, because if it's too moist I can easily ruin the card. Oh no, it's anything but. Oh, I'm not impressed with this. Oh, this is the reason why I bought a new ink pad, because my old one was a bit like this. No, I'm not happy with that at all. Hang on whilst I get a sponge and have a look if I get a different effect with that. Just wanted to show you this. I actually stamped with this. There is some ink on the edges, but there's not enough in the middle for me to pick up. So I think what I do is overnight, I think I will keep this upside down, but if I can't use this, I might have to send that back. I don't know what's wrong with this. Not happy with this. I've never had the issue with the Rangers, so I'll pick a different colour now quickly just to finish off the card. So I decided to go in with the Blue Lagoon instead. So this is a bit darker than the other one. It probably blend in a bit nicer, but once I've sorted the Villainous Potion out, I will definitely make a Christmas card with that. looks a bit patchy at the moment, but I think I quite like the look because it looks a bit like clouds. But what I definitely would like is a frame. So I'm just getting the dark denim out as well, and will come in from the edges. I decided to go against the dark denim because I found my Della blue, and I think this would be dark enough. So I'm just putting a bit of excess here, and now I'm coming in from the side. I need a bit more. Tell you what, it's not a good day for ink blending for me. It's not the effect I wanted. Maybe I need a bigger contrast. Yeah, I've got a bit of an edge here. Maybe I had some residue on the brush from a different ink, so I tried to ink blend that over and get rid of it, but it's not quite shifting. What I could do if I wanted to, I could do some full bleaching and spray on this a little bit. Question is whether I want that much texture. I think I'll just do that. What I have ready here already is a kitchen towel, because first of all we need to buff this and get rid of any excess ink on the clear embossing powder so that the stamp motifs come clear. Can you see the difference there? So that's what's come off that. And obviously the darker the ink is, the higher is the contrast. But I think, yeah, I'll just get my water bottle out if I can find it. Oh, it's here on the desk. So, and I'm just giving that a very light mist. I don't want any big drops really. One in the middle. I'll leave that to sink in for a moment. Yeah, I like the texture. And that smoothes it out a bit as well. So, and then I can soak up all the excess ink. So you can see it's also coming up there. Yeah, can you see it now? Can you see the texture? Yeah, I'm really pleased with this. So I'm leaving that to dry. I might have to put it through the, I tell you what, one little trick apparently is if you misted it from the front, if I missed it again from the back, I think I've read that it actually bends the other way again. So it will dry flat. Yeah, there you go. So I'll leave that to dry now before I mount it onto a 6x6 card. But you can imagine what it looks like. I will obviously put a picture in my thumbnail. But yeah, this is my first card with these new stamps. I'm really pleased with it, except for the wobbly bits here, but I think it's fine as it is. Not a quick card to make, but quite enjoyable, I think, and the effect, I think, is lovely. You could obviously just use it as a background. You could, maybe die cut, stamp and die cut some of the animals. I could imagine that. Or you could not have the heat embossing here and have animals at the bottom. Loads of things are possible with that. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how it turns out. If you like this too, you might want to give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of what I'm creating with my new stamps, you might want to subscribe to my channel. I'd be very happy about that. And I'll see you soon with another video.